The drama surrounding the Cleveland Browns has reached an intensity few could have predicted, and it's all centered on a quarterback battle that's tearing the team apart from the inside out. What was supposed to be a quiet, focused training camp has turned into a full-blown storm. With head coach Kevin Stefanski and quarterback coach Bill Musgrave locked in what insiders are calling the most explosive internal conflict since the Browns' infamous coaching carousel days. It's a war of philosophy, of leadership, and of loyalty, and it's playing out in front of the entire NFL world. It all started when Stefanski made a decision that blindsided players, staff, and even the media. Gabriel, not Shadur Sanders, would take all the first-team reps during practice. At first, most assumed it was just part of a temporary rotation, the kind of coaching strategy that changes week by week. But when day after day passed and Sanders was still working exclusively with the second team, questions began bubbling to the surface. Why was one of the most talented rookies in the league, a player known for his maturity, discipline, and football IQ, being shut out of valuable reps? And why was the head coach so determined to make that decision stick? When Bill Musgrave, the Browns' quarterback coach, stepped up to the podium during what should have been a routine media availability, no one expected fireworks. Reporters were ready for vague, polished statements about progress and trusting the process. But instead, Musgrave let the truth pour out, raw, direct, and impossible to misinterpret. His words didn't just challenge Stefanski's decision, they set fire to the entire narrative. He made it absolutely clear that Shadur Sanders had earned the right to compete for those first-team reps. Not someday, not next season, but right now. Musgrave didn't couch his argument in corporate language or soft qualifiers. He spoke with conviction, the kind that only comes from a man who's seen hundreds of quarterbacks rise and fall through the ranks. He said Sanders had shown every sign of being ready. His discipline in film study, his consistency during drills, his ability to maintain focus under pressure. And then came the statement that hit like a thunderclap. Quarterbacks don't count reps, they make reps count. It was a philosophy, a challenge, and a direct shot at Stefanski's cautious, preordained system. To Musgrave, this wasn't about politics or depth chart management. It was about fairness, merit, and the spirit of competition, the very essence of football. He argued that every quarterback worth the title should be tested under pressure against the best defenses, alongside the best offensive weapons. Anything less wasn't just bad coaching, it was sabotage. He painted a portrait of Shadur Sanders as the kind of athlete who thrives on pressure, who learns faster by doing, and who has already proven he can adapt at an elite level. And in saying so, Musgrave didn't just defend his player, he exposed the cracks in his head coach's decision-making. The deeper implications were impossible to ignore. If there was no football reason to hold Sanders back, what was really going on behind closed doors? Was Stefanski protecting a favorite, or was he too rigid to admit when his strategy wasn't working? That's the question now echoing through the halls of the Browns facility, as players and assistants quietly pick sides in what's quickly become a divided locker room. And make no mistake, this isn't a misunderstanding or a media exaggeration. Musgrave knew exactly what he was doing when he spoke. Coaches are trained to protect the organization, to keep internal disputes behind closed doors. For him to go public with this level of defiance meant one thing: he'd had enough. Enough of watching a deserving player get sidelined, enough of politics determining playing time, and enough of the silence that keeps teams mediocre. But the story doesn't stop with the coaches. The more Musgrave talked, the more the narrative shifted in Shadur Sanders' favor. He spoke about the rookie's relentless work ethic, how he stayed in the film room long after practices ended, how he spent hours perfecting his mechanics, how he approached each rep like it was the Super Bowl. According to Musgrave, Sanders' intensity wasn't just impressive, it was inspiring. He described a young man who refused to be outworked, who treated every moment on the field as an opportunity to prove he belonged. And for Musgrave, that meant only one thing: Sanders was ready for the big stage. Meanwhile, Stefanski's explanation for his decision only made things worse. He admitted openly that he didn't want anyone, not even Sanders, taking reps away from Gabriel. That one line sent fans and analysts into an uproar. It was an admission that the so-called quarterback competition wasn't a competition at all. The deck was stacked, the outcome predetermined. In the ruthless world of professional football, where every rep, every throw, every second matters, Stefanski had essentially decided the winner before the race began. What followed was a tidal wave of criticism, not just from within the organization but from the media as well. Veteran reporter Mary Kay Cabot, one of the most respected voices covering the Browns, confirmed what many had suspected, that Shadur Sanders was outplaying Dillon Gabriel in almost every measurable way. She highlighted his superior accuracy, his ability to throw from any platform, and his command of the pocket. Even Tony Grossi, who had previously been skeptical of Sanders' hype, admitted that Gabriel's struggles with accuracy and rhythm were becoming impossible to ignore. If the goal was to win football games, then how could Stefanski justify keeping his most talented passer on the bench? Fans, of course, didn't take long to pick a side. Social media exploded with clips, comparisons, and commentary. Every perfectly placed throw from Sanders became another argument in his favor. Every misfire from Gabriel was another nail in the coffin of Stefanski's credibility. The once unified fan base started to fracture, and the pressure mounted. Inside the locker room, that same tension was beginning to boil. Players started whispering. Some, according to insiders, openly questioned the fairness of the situation. When coaches and players begin to lose faith in the objectivity of their leadership, it's only a matter of time before things unravel. And that's exactly what's happening in Cleveland. Musgrave's comments weren't just about football, they were about leadership and authenticity. He defended Shadur Sanders' personality, his confidence, and even his so-called flashiness. Critics have long accused Sanders of being too showy, too focused on image, too self-assured for a rookie. But Musgrave flipped that narrative on its head, calling Sanders' authenticity his greatest strength. In a league full of players trying to fit molds, Shedeur stood out for being unapologetically himself. Musgrave argued that genuine leadership can't be faked, and that Shedeur's teammates respected him precisely because he led as himself. Confident, passionate, and fearless. By now, the story has outgrown the locker room. It's become the defining drama of the Browns' preseason. A battle not just between two quarterbacks, but between two coaching philosophies. On one side, Kevin Stefanski, the methodical planner clinging to structure and control. On the other, Bill Musgrave, the fiery veteran who believes in instinct, heart, and earning everything through competition. And caught in the middle is Shadur Sanders, a young quarterback whose talent might be too bright to ignore for much longer. If Dillon Gabriel falters in preseason or early regular season games, the outcry will be deafening. Every incomplete pass will reignite the debate. Every offensive stall will bring fans screaming for Sanders to take over. And if Stefanski doesn't bend, if he refuses to let the rookie compete, it won't just be a quarterback controversy anymore. It'll be a referendum on his leadership, his judgment, and possibly his job. The stakes are sky high now. Bill Musgrave has risked his position by challenging the status quo. Shadur Sanders has everything to gain or lose depending on what happens next, and Kevin Stefanski's entire reputation is on the line. The Browns have become ground zero for one of the most volatile quarterback controversies the NFL has seen in years, and there's no easy way out. So now, it's your turn, Browns fans. Where do you stand? Do you believe in Musgrave's vision of fairness and competition, or do you trust Stefanski's structured approach to quarterback development? Should Shadur Sanders finally get his shot with the first team, or is he better off waiting in the wings? Let's get the conversation going in the comments, because this isn't just about two quarterbacks. It's about the future of a franchise.